Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today I'm going to be doing a box opening and a preview of TSR's Dawn Patrol, which is a World War I Air Combat RPG. So just to give you a little bit of background in how I ended up picking this up. I never played this game back in the day, and don't even know exactly when it was produced. All I know is that when when I was purchasing all of my first edition AD&D books, I had come across this when just doing a search for TSR products, and it was supposedly complete. It was $20, and I was the only bidder. So I was like, okay, I will, go for this and, put down my $20 and, cross my fingers and waited to see, how it turned out. And it turned out that, I was the only bidder. So I ended up picking it up for $20 plus, plus shipping and handling and tax. So it came out to $28 complete. And just yesterday, it arrives in the mail. And so now I'm going to actually take a look at its contents and see what it's all about. I could already tell looking at the picture that was on the advertisement for purchasing it, that it showed that the counters were as you see them up here. So I was assuming that the counters were going to be in their sheets, but they're, opening up the box, I immediately realized, no, that's not the case. So that's every once in a while you come across something that isn't exactly as advertised, but hopefully it's complete as it did state, and we'll go from there. Now, complete includes, in most cases, like absent the original dice, which seems to be something that, very few boxes you find have their original dice, and if they do, they're usually a lot more expensive. So without further ado, let's go to a wider screen and we will take a look at it. So here it is, and I'm actually quite happy with the condition of the box itself. So I was happy with that. And as I always do for these, I like to show the condition of the corners and everything. And there's really not that much of an impression or indenture of the box. Actually, there's virtually none. So that's really good. And this says 1980, so we're going back a pretty long way for the box to still be in this condition. I'm really happy with that. So as I stated, the things are, the cards are out of their grid or whatever you call it, out of their frames. So that's been done. And the counters, although it appears that they are complete, the counters are also punched, but that just encourages me to actually play the game now that they're out of the frame. So it's not going to just be something that sits on my shelf and I never give it a try. So that's the one good thing about it, is that they're all here, and I will double check that afterwards. So here we have Dawn Patrol Area Combat Role Playing Game by Mike Carr. So very, very accomplished games author from TSR's older time frame, and so that actually makes me a little bit more encouraged to take a look at this and actually give it a go. I will mess around with some of the interiors, and I'll switch views for that as well. Here is the map, and It does have that old smell to it, but for something that's, you know, over 40 years old, that's to be expected. So here we have a, you know, a fairly large map in very good condition. It's not bent out of shape, although I'm about to do that myself. It's not bent out of shape. I see no wear in it as far as that's concerned. And I have a perfectly sized table to lay it on out. This here is a looks like a full listing of the different planes in the game. Hard stock to this here. I'm not sure if it had a cover. Hopefully it didn't, and this is just how it comes. But when I switch over, and I do see some things are still, you know, still have to be copied and cut out. So optional tailing cards. All right, so at least they're intact and they're in here, so I can make a Xerox of those. And we have a number of charts, mostly the stats for the games themselves and tables and such. We have the mission log, and this is as well original, and can certainly make copies of that. We have assignment, aircraft specifications, and these may have actually been copies, although I have to see, these may have actually been copies, and I can see that some of these have been cut out, but I think these are copies of that bigger card that I had there. So I am going to double check that and see, but some have been cut out. And let's see. I think these are copies of this here. So I'm a little bit relieved there. I was like, oh, okay. The person made copies of the air specification cards and then cut those out instead. So I'm glad about that. And just double checking. Yeah, that's what they did. They made copies and then cut those out. So I'm glad for that. So let's take a look and see if I can make heads or tails of the system itself. And I'll set that aside along with the map. And let's change views here and see. I might have to fiddle a little bit of, you know, around with this here to get a decent view of the rules. Let's see if I'll be better off doing it this way and then just flipping it. Yeah, there we go. And come like this and adjust. Sorry about that. I know it's that's why it's called Unscripted. So I can, you know, take a look at some of these things, and I can't really get the there we go. All right. So let's see. Oh, this particular one's 1982. You can actually not see that, but there it is, 1982. There we go. How to use this book. All the rules needed to play the basic Dawn Patrol game are explained in the basic rules section of this book. The basic rules, the advanced rules, the appendices, the game scenarios, the role-playing aspects describe pilots, their careers, and experience bonuses. All right, aircraft specifications. The object of the game is to skillfully outmaneuver your opponent while trying to shoot down enemy planes. The victory conditions will vary with the scenario being played, but players who survive and fly their planes back to their airfields usually win. Preparation is opening the board. I'm just trying to see if there are any dice. I would assume dice are needed here. But looking it through, we have sequence of play. Each player rolls 2 dice to determine the movement order. Players involved in tailing attacks choose cards. Players move in the following order. Planes at lower altitudes move first. All other aircraft move in the order set by the dice rolls. After moving, each pilot must decide whether he will shoot at one of the aircraft already in his field of fire. The decision must be announced to the other players. Observers, rear seat gunners in 2-seater planes must wait until all other planes have moved before picking a target. Attacks are made after all planes have moved. Pilots who choose targets after moving may shoot at them. Any pilot who did not choose a target after the moving can shoot at a plane that is subsequently moved into his field of fire. Rear observers can shoot at any target in the field of fire. After all firing is finished and damage is recorded, players must announce whether they are tailing another plane next turn. All right, so interesting. It to a two-seater plane as well, so you could have 2 players on the same plane. One is the pilot and main gunner, and then the other is the tail gunner. So that might be an interesting thing as well. Looking through, so attacks and the field of fire, so various fields of fire. So there's quite a bit of detail in this. Maneuvering cards, reversals, what to do with collisions. There's example of play, which is always very useful to have examples of play. So that's all part of the basic rules. And then you get here to advanced rules, where you start using the percentile tables, random combat, location, altitude, surprise, which is all part. So there's advanced movement, so minimum speed, gliding, overdive, out of control movement, So if your plane is spinning out of control, you know how you might, potentially recover. Escape from combat. There are two ways to escape from combat. The first is to move into a cloud and declare that you have escaped. The second is to declare your intentions to escape and then fly 3 consecutive turns without shooting or being shot at. Once an aircraft has escaped from the combat, it is considered out of play and may not return to the action. Time limitations, attack limitations, advanced combat, limited intelligence. A pilot and Dawn Patrol game has an important advantage over a World War I counterpart. He knows a lot of what is going on, in particular instance in a dog fight. So maybe there's a way to limit intelligence by limiting the amount of information the players see at the board at any given time. Ammunition expenditure, reloading, guns jamming, clearing jams, range firepower effectiveness. So these are all part of the advanced rules. So you can see it does get quite a bit detailed. German parachutes, I guess there might be a difference. Optional tailing rules, critical hits. Looks like they have hit location and critical hits based on the location. So several different locations for that are dealt with. Ground attack and ground fire. And so that comes into play as part of the advanced rules. Observation balloons. How to destroy balloons. Getting back, the distance home. Roads, terrain, landing on an airfield, landing and takeoff, downed pilots and what to do with your downed pilots. The point system, although Dawn Patrol games, there often is not a clear-cut winner or loser. Some players may wish to use a point system to score individual games or tournaments. The following point system can be used for these purposes. So +2 for each point scored. I'm down here at the bottom. It's going to be a little bit hard to. Oh, no, maybe not. It still might be a little bit difficult to see down here. +30 for shooting down an enemy aircraft. And that seems to be the biggest plus bonus. And -35 for being shot down. So you actually lose more points for getting shot down than you gain points for shooting someone down. Different types of missions. Unit organization. This might actually be something that could easily be converted to single player, and I'm certainly going to look into doing that. Certainly looking to do that when I give this a try. So once again, provided that I have everything, and once I double check that, really can't go wrong for $20 and plus the shipping and handling. And like I said, the condition of the box is is really, really good considering it's a 1982 game here, and I already have a spot all set for it on my shelf, which I've been reorganizing the shelf behind me. I will actually switch here. So I've been reorganizing my shelf, which let's see how you can get a good view of it. And so here I've been putting some of my, my more tabletop combat-based games. And so this here will hopefully fit very well right there on the shelf there. So I'm like I said, reorganizing it. It looks like it'll fit in that spot, really well. And maybe a little bit of tweaking it. But once again, another great buy. An excellent buy from eBay. Lucky that no one else had bid on it, and for less than $30 just to have another TSR product to add to my ever-growing collection. And the next thing I'll be looking for is Gamma World, which is probably one of the last things other than Boot Hill as well. I'd like to get a box set of that as well, and that I believe completes my TSR box set collection. So thanks for joining. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hadn't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I'll probably do a solo gameplay of this and record that and put that up in a couple of weeks as I get through the rest of my my numerous series of videos that I've been working on. And I'll come around and revisit this once it's ready to be played, and record that play for you. So thanks for joining. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon. Take care.